Hey everyone, it's Joshua Sheppard here again. I'm a young up-and-coming artist out of the GTA area of Toronto. Maybe some of you know me, maybe some of you don't. Anyways, today is my definitive interview, so we'll get to know a little bit more.
So Joshua, just a few questions for you. To start you off, you have a current project that you're working on.
I do. We've been under radio silence a little bit for what the future of my music was going to look like now since we released Could We Be, and well, I'm glad to finally announce that I do have another song coming, the title of which is Trouble on the Holy Road, and you can look forward to that for sometime during mid-April.
When and why did you start playing music?
I started music very young. I guess you could say I was kind of set up with it in part due to my parents, particularly my father. Something he wanted me to be into was music, but it's just kind of something I grew into where it wasn't so much forced, where it was just something I kind of picked up on. I mean, ever since I was like pretty much a little baby, I was grooving to a lot of tunes, and it just kind of seemed natural for me.
Which instruments do you play?
Now, of course, this is a question I get a lot. I personally play piano and guitar, and of course, I sing if you want to count vocals.
And do you have a favorite between the two to play, the guitar or the piano?
That's always a tricky question for me. Sometimes I sort of teeter-totter back and forth. It's one of those things. I would say, practically wise, I like the ease of guitar. It's just a very convenient instrument. You know, it's something you could take anywhere with you. You can have it at a campfire or at any sort of venue, whereas a piano, of course, is a little bit more difficult to set up around. So I'd say just for ease of convenience and diversifying like where you can play guitar.
A lot of singers have a song or songs that they started off listening to when they were quite young. Do you have a song or a tune that you can remember back to that started you?
For me, I would say what really kind of kick-started my musical journey in way of like me starting performing, me starting to sing and play, and eventually, you know, come to where I am today, making a lot of my own stuff. I'd say my biggest influence was probably Ed Sheeran and some of the tunes off his first album, or one of his early albums, Multiply. It was just kind of got me kick-started on that path of, you know, putting together a lot of my different skills, whereas before I started with just playing piano or just playing guitar or just singing, that kind of helped to bring them all together with that sort of inspiration.
Would you say that you came from a musical family?
Well, I would say I did and I didn't. Now, family heritage-wise, my parents coming from Newfoundland, it's a very musical place where people are enthralled with such things and different songs to be sung. It's a lot of culture behind that. My parents personally, they don't play any instruments, but my dad is really big into music, and if there's one guy who knows speakers, it's him.
Well, a lot of singers, they have other famous musicians that they say they've learned something from. Is there a musician, a famous musician out there that you can say you've learned things from?
Well, I mean, that's kind of just by virtue of being into music that you're going to pick things up here or there. What you listen to is going to influence how you sound, sort of thing. And, you know, as I've mentioned, I've listened to a lot of artists like Ed Sheeran and whatnot, but I'd say one of the most influential people for me would probably be Daniel Reynolds of Imagine Dragons. He's an artist that I've followed for a long time. And with his band dynamic, of course, while I'm a solo act compared to the band, it's just music I enjoy. I think there's the way he conducts his music and his songs. I really like the style of it where, you know, there's a very kind of mainstream and contemporary sound, which is inviting to a lot of people, but there's also pretty deep messages and good lyrics like laced throughout that really provide a great experience for whether you're just coming to listen to something nice or, you know, you want to stay for something a little bit more heartfelt.